In this video, I'm going to talk about how my AI agency did $85,504.05. And I think it was the month of June or July, or I don't know, one of those. So just because people are going to ask, I pulled in all my finances, all my tax documents. Here's the whole breakdown, just so you can see all the numbers. This is, this is totally legit. So, all right, hopefully you'll listen to this and be like, oh, this guy actually maybe knows what he's talking about. So here's what we're going to dive into this video. Number one, how to find clients willing to pay you $50,000 each. What services people with money, this is super important because you don't want to be selling to broke people, are begging to pay for. And then how do you actually sell these services? So I'll talk about basically the two big services that we sell to clients. So who am I? My name is Kale. I'm the founder of Merge Labs. I grew it to $80,000 per month at around 80% margins, which is insane. And then we do a lot of AI. Like, we're in the top 140 open AI companies in the world of 2.1 million. So anyways, what is Merge Labs? It's just my agency where all of this stuff is housed under. So how did I make $85,500 in a month with AI? This breaks down to two main services. Okay. So one is AI transformation partner for, it says small here, but it's more medium-sized businesses and mid-market companies, right? And the like 20 to 500 range of employees, sometimes up to a couple thousand. And then AI development and fractional CTO. So let's break these down. All right. So what's an AI transformation partner? You probably heard this term thrown around a bit, but to break it down, every company in the 200 to 500 employee range and up to a couple thousand, but I find a lot of people in this range are just trying to figure out how to implement AI into their companies, usually because there's a lot of outside pressure, right? Either people see their competition posting about how they're doing AI, or there's just a lot of pressure just in general because everyone's talking about AI. And the people at the top are like, damn, we need this. And then either they try and figure it out or they just push it down onto somebody else and say, figure out how we're going to implement AI. Right now, small companies need this too. I would just recommend working with the bigger mid-market enterprise if you can get there, just because they have more money. So, you get paid more money for doing basically the same thing. Just quick heads up before I dive into this. There's a lot of tire kickers, right? They're either just looking to add AI for self-preservation or because they have FOMO or whatever. You got to be really careful and you want to find a way to quickly ignore all the people who are invested and find those that really are trying to invest in this seriously. So I received this inbound message probably 3 to 4 times per month from companies in the $100 million to $250 million range. Hey, we know we need AI, but don't know where to start and really need help. Whenever this comes in, do not send a big proposal up front. All a client sees when they get this is a ton of risk and a massive price tag, right? Do not do this. If you send these, you will sign exactly 0 clients. It does not work. I promise. Now, here's what you do instead. What you want to do is break everything into exploration phases, right? Where you get small payments throughout the process. And the reason you do this is because I'll explain later, but it gets their foot in the door and it gives you an opportunity to prove your value, right? And that's all you need in the beginning. So it either goes one of two ways. Either they're certain they know what they want, or they send exactly the message I showed you above, which is you just jump right into discovery and start finding use cases. So in the case they know what they want, the reason I put "know" in quotes is because I hear this all the time, and then it's like the worst use case of AI. They have been completely sold on a dream or a magic pill or a shiny demo that's going to fix everything, when AI either just isn't the right tool for it, or they're trying to use way too much AI when they should only be using it for a key piece of the solution, right? Now, your job is to analyze and identify these things. Now, so to say, is it simply the client was sold a dream? If you just go along and build this, right? Because they could say, oh, I want this. And then you could quote them and they say yes and you build it. But if you go along and build this for them, you will get screwed, because when you deliver, even if you deliver exactly what they asked for and they realize, damn, this isn't returning the ROI that I expected because they had impossible expectations, that falls back on you, even if you did your job, right? And this happened to me at the very beginning years ago when I started doing this. And then I quickly realized, damn, I need to be kind of strategy and, do consulting in the very beginning to sit down with these people and figure out where is the ROI for these companies and what actually needs to be built, and more importantly, what does not need to be built. This is extremely important. And the beauty of this is that it opens the door to say to a client, okay, we're going to do an $800 to $1,500. Don't give them a range, choose a number, but like speaking to you, somewhere in that range, exploration phase to look at the inputs, right? The input data, the workflows you already have, the systems you already have, whatever it is, and confirm that what they are asking is A, possible, and B, will return them a real ROI. Because to pay you $800 to $1,500 to potentially avoid building something worth $20,000 that actually wouldn't have done anything for them, that is such an easy sell to somebody who is actually committed to getting this stuff done, right? And then you get more cash flow up front. It's really easy for you to deliver on this, and it's really valuable for the client. And then when you actually go into building it, you have the confidence, and so does the client, that whatever you build is going to deliver. And then the last piece is that they've put down money, so they're so much more engaged in going through with you, whether just on this build for what they were talking about, but also everything that comes after it. Okay, and then the other case, this should be too. They don't know what they want, right? This is very common. This is usually when there's pressure at the top from the founder or CEO, and they're like, damn, we need AI, and have no clue where to start. It's very similar to the above. Your goal here is to unveil at least one killer use case you know will return them a strong ROI. Now, once you do enough calls to people of a certain ICP, you basically just hop on the call and pattern match. Like, you immediately know what problems there likely are. And maybe they've already solved a couple of them, but then you'll probably have like 5 in your head that you see over and over and over again. And then it will be very easy to identify this one killer use case. Now, for this case, you could still do the exploration phase as I described above, and then add a proof of concept, or I like prototype. And then you can charge maybe 5 to 15K for the prototype before you go into the full development, right? So you could charge a little bit up front to do that discovery, strategy, consulting, and then get a little bit more right here, right? And the prototype isn't a full, and I should probably explain what a prototype is. It's like, what's a good example? I have AI running for Shopify e-com customer support, right? So let's say a prototype was, okay, this AI system is only going to respond to tracking inquiries, right? On the big project, we'll do tracking, subscriptions, refunds, returns, all of it. You know what I mean? So this prototype, it still works. It's a fully functioning thing. It's just a much smaller scope of the much bigger project that will be done afterwards. So yes, you charge a little bit less money to set in place the opportunity to charge much more later. And remember, your goal here, the only goal, is to get in the door and provide your value. Now, the next piece is make them feel the magic, right? When you build something and you deliver, you don't really have to do anything here. You will just see them react, and they'll be like, damn, if you did the consulting part right, like you chose the right problem and then you built the product right, they will probably text you something like, damn, this feels like magic. I swear it happens almost every time. And then the rest sells itself, right? I promise you, if you correctly identified the use case and gave them a prototype that solves it well, everything else will start to sell itself. And now, instead of identifying one use case, you can hop on within an entire section of the company and identify every use case that you possibly can, right? And then if you deliver well, they will come back begging for you to take more of their money and their work, right? Bro, let's do it. Send me the contract. After I told him, no, I'm too busy, he kept sending me this. Hey, bro, I just thought of this, and then pitched another idea that he saw somewhere. The answer is yes. I don't know what it is, but we need to be in the forefront. And then I didn't respond fast enough. I was probably sleeping because it was 4 a.m. Hey, bro, do you want to chat about the scope, right? I promise everything else will start selling itself because you've officially become their AI transformation partner, right? So the goal here, get your foot in the door, prove your value. To get your foot in the door, you probably have to charge a bunch of smaller chunks. And then once you prove that you're valuable, everything else just starts compounding, and you can be charging a lot more money. Like you saw in here, right? Like this was what, $37,000 for one system for that client that I showed you here. So and that was like the 4th project that we'd done with them. So next we'll cover our other winning offer, and then the elephant in the room, which is how do you actually find these clients? The second offer, AI development and fractional CTO. So this usually means building products for people 0 to 1, whether it's an AI product or not, right? And this is usually for non-technical people who already have money or have already raised VC money. All right, I just opened up the links. So, or is a good example. We did this earlier this year with Zach, all the way up until launch, and then we came off of this in August because he hired in his own team, and they've been crushing since. Props to them. They're brilliant. But yeah, we did that 0 to 1. This customer service one, we're entirely behind. And then AI, SEO, and other system fully from the ground up. Yeah, there's just a couple examples. Usually these projects are people who are building a SaaS company for themselves, and then they're going to scale it up. It doesn't have to be that. Sometimes it's companies who just need an engineering team in-house, like engineering development team in-house. But it's usually one of those two. Okay, so why is this part of our AI agency offerings? To put it simply, development is completely different than it used to be. And if you're not technical, keep watching this because I'm gonna get to that. But you can ship entire reliable SaaS products in days, right? Especially if you're AI native and you're already a great developer, which is everyone on our team. There's two real opportunities that I saw. Number one, development agencies and dev shops suck. Like these companies usually will underquote their clients so that they win the deal and then proceed to screw up the code to get you on retainer. So you pay somebody to build you something. They will mess it up on a fundamental level and then say, oh, you have to pay us to fix it if you actually want your thing done, because they get paid out for how long they work, right? And the incentives were completely unaligned. Anyways, I'll touch on that a bit more later. But also, usually to find these people, you would have to go to these weird niche sites and pay a team in a different country. Somebody that you don't trust at all, right? Have never met them, just found them on this weird site. A lot of money to build a SaaS product because it's not cheap to build an entire full SaaS thing, right? You're talking at least like on the small end, 30K to like 250, somewhere in that range. So we came in, we marketed better. We kind of come in like a partner on this entire thing. And this has worked super well for two reasons. Number one, the referrals are incredible because there's so much demand for this. And like I mentioned before, the other options suck. And all the deals are high ticket, so it's really good cash flow. I kind of touched on this above, but the difference now is that you can charge based on outcomes, not price, right? The biggest pain for people buying development is, what if I don't get what I spend all this money on? That's a super valid question because basically every dev shop is always late, way over budget, and sometimes they never even deliver. The fundamental reason for these issues in the first place is because they price based on time. They are incentivized to screw up, move slower on your project, because then it takes longer and they make more money. Now, when AI coding tools came out in 2023, we trained up our entire team and then started shipping software at like ridiculous speeds. There's a video on my website. If you go to Merge Labs, I kind of walk through everything we built recently, like a ton of software, both for clients and for ourselves, right? It became so obvious to me that you could charge based on outcome now because the marginal cost of making a change or adding a feature or whatever it was is so much lower, right? So where it would cost you as an agency about $5,000 to pay a developer to make a change for a client's project, now it's like $200 if you're using Cursor, Claude Code, or one of these tools. So we have only ever charged outcome-based pricing at our agency, and clients absolutely love it. Now, the opportunity, the fun part, is whether you have a development background or not, if you put in some effort into learning the basics of development, like auth, databases, algorithms, these, I would say basic security, then you can use Lovable, Cursor, Claude Code, whatever tool you want to deliver entire SaaS products for clients, which is a massive opportunity, right? Now, the caveats, this is extremely important, so listen up. You need to scope the project extremely well, okay? You have to be crystal clear with the client on exactly what they want, right to every little detail, or else scope creep will crush you because they'll keep asking for stuff and you'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then you do that too long and you are just so in the red. You made money off of them, but you put in way more work than what you charge them for, right? So especially if you're running at scale and this happens, you will get crushed. And then kind of a caveat, every client project is different. So you can only productize to a certain extent, right? You can build templates for like iOS apps and for like, B2B SaaS products, whatever it is. But a lot of stuff is custom, so you can't really productize it as well. But that's not too big an issue. It's just something to keep in mind. Now, the elephant in the room is, how do you find these clients? All right, how do you close high ticket clients fast? Your leverage is either time or money. Your leverage is time, then cold outreach is your best friend, right? Especially Dream 100. So what's a good example? I mean, you could sell the AI development or go more niche and sell MVP development. Or you could have an AI offer. So let's use LinkedIn copywriting as the example for VC-backed B2B founders, right? Let's say I was doing outreach. I would probably go through LinkedIn or cold email or X, wherever it looked like they were most active. And then Dream 100 is choosing the best 100 people from your ICP and actually doing the work instead of just making a promise, right? So instead of emailing one of these guys and saying, hey, I do LinkedIn copywriting because it helps drive leads, it gives you authority in your niche, which will also increase your close rates on the back end because people trust you more. I would still say all that, but if I was doing Dream 100, then I'd say, and here's 3 examples that you could post in your LinkedIn right away, right? And then if you went and did really good research and wrote excellent LinkedIn posts, this guy doesn't have to or girl doesn't have to trust your word anymore because they've seen proof of your work. And if it's really good, your close rate on cold outbound, it'll still be low because it's cold outreach, right? But it will be much higher than just saying, hey, I do this, please trust me, right? So that's cold outreach and more specifically Dream 100. And then the other one is content, right? You could just keep stacking up content that shows that you know what you're talking about and use that to drive leads. It takes longer, but it works. This message is from the founder of a company valued at now billions of dollars in the e-com space. I was watching your videos and building agents. If you look at my YouTube, you'll see which video it is. And it's a lot of the stuff we're already building. If free some time, let's chat, and it'd be great to hear more, right? And that just came right from my YouTube. And then if your leverage is money, you could still do cold outreach, and you could just automate it and push way more volume, right? And cold outreach is a game of volume, so this could work super well. I have friends pushing like 300K per month that aren't even running ads. They're just doing cold outreach. They've just scaled it up massively by putting by putting a lot of money behind it. And then the other one is ads, right? It's the fastest way to just get in front of whoever you're trying to get in front of. So if you have a lot of money to blow on this, then it's definitely a great way to get in front of your ICP with your offer. Now, if you want a video breaking down examples of each of these lead generation methods for different types of AI offers, then leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll do that next because I've seen examples of marketing on probably every platform. But I will say that no matter, I guess it depends which offer you're running, but any channel works, right? Meta ads, YouTube ads, cold email, LinkedIn outreach. It kind of matters which offer, but if you choose one and stick to it, then it will work. But I find that seeing the examples of what's actually worked and is working right now can be super helpful too. So if you want that, leave a comment. If you have an AI agency and you want help, I have a consulting link. And if you're a mid-market enterprise, maybe small business that needs help with AI, then there's a link to my agency below too.